So on Monday, I took the car to the shop to get it repaired. And it's just a short walk, less than a block, to Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And I was trying to get back to work early in the morning. There were 4 other people in line. The door wasn't open yet, and I noticed in the front of Enterprise, there was this electric car being charged. And I thought, wow, who gets the electric car? So the 4 people went ahead of me, and then it came my turn, and the lady says to me, you live pretty close to where you work, right? And I said, yes. She said, would you mind taking an electric car? And I said, oh, of course, I'll take the electric car. So she gives me all these papers to read, a list of places of where I can charge. It doesn't tell me too much else. And I try to figure out how to work the parking brake, which the power has to be on before the parking brake works. As I drive off, I notice it says 99%, but it wasn't really 99%, it was 99 miles. It took me 18 miles to get to work. There at work, of course, I had to go and try out everything in the car, so I took a friend out, and we tried every menu, every button. I figured out most of them except the one up in the top dashboard that looked like a tree. Then I went home. It took 7 miles to get home. And I plugged in the charger that comes with it in a trickle charge at home. The next morning I woke up, and it said 107 miles. Well, 7 miles to work, 7 miles back. It's not going to take much, so I didn't have to charge it that night. Now I thought, you know, what good is having an electric car in Hawaii if I don't really try it out? So I wanted to have an adventure. So I asked my friend, hey, you want to go on an adventure with me? And what I wanted to do was to go over the mountain. You see, where I live, there are mountains on both sides to get to town. So I thought, well, I'll go see a movie in Kahala. This was a movie that my wife wanted to see. And he said his wife would come and bring a car, so I had a backup. I had one way to charge the car for us to get home or my wife to get home. At the last minute on Thursday, his wife didn't come. And I, of course, neglected to tell my wife that his wife wasn't coming. It had 117 miles that day, 7 miles to work, 7 miles home. I had over 100 miles to start our adventure. Now I figured if I had at least 60 miles after coming down over the mountain, then I'd be okay and I'd be able to make it home. Well, going up the Likelike mountain, or hill as some of you might think it is, takes 27 miles. You can see the mileage just going down as you go up. On the way back down, I gained back about 20 miles. That's how electric cars work, you know. By the time we got to Kahala Mall to go to the movie, I was at 34 miles left. You know, we're frantically looking, and one of the pieces of paper, and it says that the Kaimuki Shopping Center has a place to charge a car. So I dropped my wife off at Kahala Mall, and we drive to the Kaimuki Shopping Center, and there we plug it in. At 31 miles left, plug it into the charger. The light comes on, we push the start button, I see the light in the dashboard, it's on, we figure we're great. And so we take off. We can't make it to the movie in time, so we catch a bus to Kahala Mall. There, we see the movie. Afterward, we have dinner. And the 3 of us catch the bus back to the Kaimuki Shopping Center. It's about 3.5 hours. We figure, wow, should have charged up. And my friend had told me, you know, in Hawaii, for this year, you get 4 hours free charging at all these spots per day per car. So, get in the car, jump in, unplug the charger, turn it on. It was 31 miles. It didn't do anything. So I pulled into the next stall and tried to start that one. But, you know, the power wasn't on. My friend went behind there and pulled the power on, and that seemed to do something, but it still would not charge. Well, we figured we have to get back over, and we're going to go try to get to the Likelike. On the list, one of the papers that was given to us, it said that the Bishop Museum had a charger in the back parking lot. We drive over to the Bishop Museum, and sure enough, the gate was closed. However, the gate to go out was open. So we drove in the out gate, looked through the whole back parking lot, and there was no charger. We looked on the side, and there the charger was. We plugged it in. Still not working. It shows that something's plugged in, but it won't charge. So I back it up, go into the next stall, and plug it into that one again. And that said, not working. My friend goes and looks over. There was a little sign on there that said AC1. So he goes over to the side, and there was a control panel. And he opens the control panel, you know, in the fuse box, and flips the switch to turn it on, but that turns it off. He turns it back on, the red lights come on, And we go, oh, it's still not charging. We drive across, going up to the Leaky Leaky, and go to a fast stop where I see a parking stall and a regular outlet. And there I put in a trickle charge. Of course, I asked the lady first, and I say, hey, you know, can we charge our car? You know, I got to get back over the mountain. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. I charge in for 1 hour there. My wife is mad. We're looking at the list again, and it says, at the airport, Alamo has 4 chargers, and Enterprise has chargers. And since I have an Enterprise car, I said, okay, my wife says, drive to the airport. So I drive to the airport, and she pulls off to the one that there is an Enterprise there. I pull over there, and the gates are closed all the way around Enterprise. We pull over into the airport, the one that's in the airport, and that was a gate around it all too. But Alamo is open. However, they've got those things, you know, that stab your tires if you go in there. Well, my wife gets out of the car. She goes over and talks to the guy, and my friend says, you know, oh, you know, if they don't help my wife, boy, they're really in sad shape. So the guy comes over to us. We're on the outside by the street, and he tells us, oh, we can't charge you here, but, you know, you can charge at the Navy Mall. And I go, Navy Mall, where's that? And he says, let me see your keys. So my keys are in my pocket. You know, you don't need to take the keys out to drive an electric car. You just leave it in your pocket. So I take my keys out, and he says, you see that there in the keys? And there in the keys is this little tag. And he goes, you just wave that in front of the charger. I go, oh, that's how you charge the car. So we drive over to the shopping mall, which happens to be the Mauna Loa Mall. We finally figured that out. We're at 22 miles. I know that I need 27 to get over the Leaky Leaky, at least going the other way. We pull into there, we plug it in, and I wave that little key there, and it starts charging. Ah! We go over to the McDonald's, which is open 24 hours, and we wait there for an hour. Of course, my wife is really riling on me now, so I said, I'm going to go out and get some air. And I went out to go check the car and make sure that it was still charging, you know, after the experience we had. So I go over there and look, and the car is still charging. Everything's going good. The charger's on. Everything's on. There were policemen over by the side that were parked there. A couple of policemen came up to me. I couldn't tell they were policemen. They had T-shirts and shorts. They were off duty. So they came over and they said, hey, how do you like your electric car? And I told them my adventure thus far. So after an hour of plugged in, you know, we had about enough now to get over the mountain. At least we hope so. So I started going up the Leaky Leaky very slowly. I mean, I was like crawling up there and turning on the hazard lights for any cars that came up behind me. By the time we went up and over the mountain, I didn't gain too much coming back. I had 12 miles left. So we pulled into Enterprise. And there at Enterprise, I plugged it in, waved the little key card, and plugged it in for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I got 22 miles left. I know I need 18 miles for Laie. And in Laie, there's a charger there. So we figured 22 miles, we can make it. And I start off, and I'm going out towards there, get down about maybe 3 or 4 miles, and the cars are all stopped in front of us. There's an accident. I immediately turn off the car and, you know, just stop, wait there. We see police cars coming the other way. We count 7 of them. We figure the accident must be done by now. And about 20 minutes after it started, they cleared up. So I pulled over to the side so I could drive really slowly. And then the cars passed us. We started out, and I'm going so slow. Every time that the car comes behind me, I put the hazard lights on. By the time I make it to Laie, I've got 6 miles left. We plug it into the charger there. Plug it in for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I've got 8 miles left. And remember, it takes me 7 miles to get home. So we get out there, and I go very slowly, crawling along, and I make it home at 4 a.m. with just 2 miles, 6 miles left. Ah, we made it. Oh, no. I've got to do this again tomorrow. I've got another appointment in town.